Good morning to all of you. My name is Patrick Pastures, and let's begin. Okay, today I'm going to educate you all a little bit about one of my favorite companies, which I like to call, any of you guess who that is? As Nike. Alright? Probably my favorite company out of pretty much anywhere. If I could work anywhere, it would probably be for Nike. Start with a little bit of history from Nike. They began in the 1950s with two people, Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight. Bill Bowerman was a head track coach at Oregon University and was one of those coaches that was always looking for a way to give his runners the edge up over the opponent, whether it be different shoes, hydration, techniques, stretches, so on and so forth. Whatever it took, he was always trying to create winners. Phil Knight actually graduated from Oregon with his master's, and he ran on the track team. Coached under Bill Bowerman also. So one day they hooked up and decided that they wanted to sell shoes. So they contacted Tiger Running Shoes out of Japan and informed them that they wanted to be a distributor for their shoes in the States. Tiger Running Shoes agreed, and $500 in a handshake between two people. That's when Blue Ribbon Sports was created. And Blue Ribbon Sports, they were basically just selling shoes out of the trunk of their cars. And hey, you did what you had to do back then. Now, Bill and Phil both had full-time jobs. So Jeff Johnson, that's where Jeff Johnson comes in. Because Jeff Johnson was their first employee. He was kind of their day-to-day, I'm going to handle distributing, shipping, everything kind of guy, which I kind of assume as a manager. You know, if those two are owners, I assume Jeff Johnson to be the manager. So he was technically the first manager, and he did an awesome job. He handled everything while Bill was coaching and Phil was doing his accounting work. He handled everything. He found them a store so they could actually set up a retail store, and after a while, it became their full-time jobs. He was also the reason for the swoosh. He found Carolyn Davidson, who was a graphic art design student, and whoever thought that a simple swoosh would take the world by storm the way it did. The swoosh is one of the most symbolic brands to ever, one of the symbolic logos, I'm sorry, not brands, logos to ever be created. And this is Bill Bowerman right here, Phil, and the first Nike shoe that they created. I'm glad I wasn't running back then, because I'm not too excited about that one. Alright. I'm going to start with branding. Now, Nike is the #1 sports apparel brand in the world, period. They sell more than anybody. They make more than anybody. It's a $19 billion company, and they've been going 50, 60 years strong now, and don't see them slowing down anytime soon. Their slogan, "Just Do It," has been around for at least 30 years, and that's exactly what they're doing. You know, they make shoes, they're doing it, they're getting it out. But really, how they get their brand out is athletes. That's their goal. That's their focus. Their focus is athletes. Their athletes is how they get their brand out. They put them in their clothes and their shoes, and they put them in these commercials, and they send them out, and they send them to these fundraisers and everything. So when kids see Michael Jordan walking around with Nikes on, and all these other athletes, Derek Jeter, and all these swimmers, tennis players, soccer players, they see them walking around with all this Nike gear on, kids think, oh man, well, if they're professional athletes and they're wearing this stuff, why can't I wear this stuff, and then maybe I'll be a professional athlete? That's just the first thought behind branding when you're trying to get your brand out. But they have everything. They have shoes, shirts, socks, underwear, compression shorts, cleats, spikes, anything you can name of, they probably got it. Water bottles. And these are just a few. Michael Jordan, Adrian Peterson, Tiger Woods, Lance Armstrong, excuse me, Serena Williams, Allison Felix, oh my goodness, Mia Hamm, Derek Jeter, Manny Pacquiao. This, as you can see, they cover every sport. Nike sponsors everything. They sponsor many club teams, many collegiate teams, some NFL teams, some teams overseas. Nike has their hand in every pot they can possibly get their hand in for the best way of getting their brand out. And who can blame them? Now, the community vision of Nike. Nike's first and foremost thing is diversity and inclusion. That means that they want everybody and anybody from all races, sexes, shapes, sizes. They want everybody included in this because their definition of athlete is anyone with a body. Some people think the definition of athlete is someone who plays a sport or someone who can jump high, run fast, etc., etc. No, their definition is anyone with a body is an athlete. And I think that's so positive. I like that a lot. Once I found that, I was really inspired by that. And their goal, Nike's goal, is basically to have everyone in the world wearing Nikes. If you play basketball, they want you to wear Nike basketball shoes. If you play football, they want you to wear Nike cleats. If you swim, they want you to wear a Nike shower cap. If you surfboard, if you snowboard or surf or whatever, they want your board to say Nike on it. If you anything you do, they want their logo on whatever you're doing. And that's awesome. I mean, they're shooting for the tops. Now, the 6-point plan didn't come into play until, let me show you a picture here. As you see the picture, it's a kid, foreign kid, relieving himself on the side of a wall, but Nike, just do it, son. And the reason, now the 6-point plan is a plan that Bill Bowerman came up with because in the early 2000s, Nike had some problems with the community because they were after this publishing they put out with Michael Jordan on one side and I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. It was a worker from one of the shops in the other article. And the worker used to work 40 hours a week and only made like 2 cents a day. Or 2 cents an hour, I'm sorry, I apologize. He made 2 cents an hour, and after everyone seeing that, they just went crazy. And Nike has all these sweatshops in foreign countries where the workers are working all day and are barely paid and the living conditions aren't right and all these other things, and Nike's just profiting off of it like crazy. Now, everybody else does the exact same thing. If you look on the back of your shirt that you have on now, it probably says made in China or made in Korea or something of that nature. Now, the only reason that Nike took so much criticism for it is because they were making the most success off of it. When Nike hit, Nike took off in the 80s. You know, Nike took off and it went full speed ahead and did not slow down. And people bought it, you know, people enjoyed it, but once they read that article, it didn't. So Phil actually came up with the 6-point plan, and that was just his way of trying to show the community that he cares. So he made for better living conditions, you know, higher minimum working ages for the shops overseas and things like that. So basically to show that he cares about the people that's making his product. It's just he can only do so much, but at least he's trying. So I respect that. And it's not like Nike isn't the only people, you know, with sweatshops overseas. So, but Nike has won numerous awards also. A couple of them, they won the Gigatron Award for energy saving programs, which is pretty cool. They named one of the 100 best corporate citizens for 2011, which is nice. They was recognized as one of the most ethical companies. I thought that was huge. That is just great. It's like, because like we worked on ethics probably about a week or two ago. We worked on ethics, and I think that's a huge thing, because if you can't trust people, then you don't really know people. You'll never know anybody if you can't trust them. So I feel like I kind of know Nike because I know that I can trust them. I know that they treat people right. I know they treat their employees right. And I know that they just come to bring you the best product that they can. And so far, they have yet to fail me. So I really think that's awesome. Now, advertising. This is Nike's biggest thing. They advertise great. They probably have the best commercials and advertisements and things that you ever, oh my goodness. They have billboards, clothing, and sports teams. I mean, they advertise on their sports teams a lot. They put their logo on it. They make special jerseys for college football teams, and you'll start to see it. And once you start really paying attention, you'll see a lot of Nike got their hand on everything. But I love the advertising in Nike. I love the advertising, and with sports, I thought one of the first times they started advertising actually was with their first athlete was Steve Prefontaine. He was a runner back for Bill Bowerman back in the 1950s, 1960s. And he was the runner that they actually gave that first Nike shoe to. And it's kind of funny because we moved to a house out in eastern Indiana, out in the Geist Reservoirs area, and my parents bought that house. The owner was Kevin Prefontaine, and he's the owner of Family Leisure off of Pendleton Pike in Oak Landing. And that's actually his uncle, which I thought was just ridiculous once I started looking into this project. And that's actually his uncle, so I thought that was pretty cool. Steve Prefontaine, I thought I kind of had a connection there, so I already realized that I was born to be a Nike man. So, but I think that's pretty cool. But they advertise and they put their clothes out. They have all these different campaigns, like the women my butt campaign, and my arm and my leg is where they put a billboard up of the women and they say my butt, and they have all these inspirational things that women like about themselves, and it encourages them to go, you know, purchase Nike products. Or clothing or apparel, whatever you want to call it. And it's a nice it was a nice campaign. Then they got the Nike Boom campaign for the younger generation who likes to get all amped up and riled up, and the coaches and everything, and it's amazing. And they just got everything, and Nike has come such a long way from where they were to where they are now. $19 billion corporation, and as humble as can be. I mean, they're the most ethical company. I'm sure Phil Knight isn't complaining. He's the world's 6th richest man from when I last heard. May have gone up or going down by then, but hey, anytime you're one of the richest people anywhere, it's always a good thing. So I really enjoy Nike, and I actually have a commercial for you. I'm gonna see if I can get it going. If I can get this is Nike's best. This was voted Nike's best commercial. So we'll see. Let you guys take a look at it. Uh-oh. There we go. I love this commercial. That's Steve Prefontaine. One of the first Nikes. Serena Williams, athlete. You see they have athlete on the shirt. Gymnastics, track and field. Lance Armstrong. LeBron James. Federer. And tennis. How can I tell you this is? Kobe Bryant. 5-time NBA champion. Michael Jordan. The great one. That was your soul born to do. Just do it. So, as you can see, Nike's come a long way. Long way. And what more can I tell you other than just do it.